No, first of all, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak on energy statistics. I think energy statistics are critical. I mean, if you listen to heads of states now, there will be no single head of state who will end up a speech without having to mention energy. And that just shows you how important energy is. In fact, when you look back in the last 5 to 10 years, most of our African countries did not even have a ministry on energy. But now we have energy in ministries being set up in a number of our countries. And that just demonstrates how important energy is. The issue, therefore, what is going on at the moment in most of our countries is the development of the infrastructure on energy, policies, strategies, and the regulations. The problem that we have is how do we then measure all these things that are being put in place in relation to the GDP? As you know, the efficiency we are talking about is how are you able to get production with less use of energy? That is what energy efficiency is about. And to do that, you actually need statistics, you need data. And at the moment, what's happening in most of our countries is that they have what they call focal point persons that are sitting in the ministries of energy to collect the data. But these are people that focal point persons, but they are not statisticians. They are not trained to be able to collect data. And therefore it becomes very important that perhaps in regularizing, in developing questionnaires, in developing the standards, you need to work with partners that have the means to do that. And therefore that it means that in the case of our country in Zambia is that how can the Ministry of Energy work with ZAMSTAT, Zambia Statistical Agency, that has the means and who are proficient in the way data collection is made. And that perhaps in doing that, it would be able to be easier to measure this energy efficiency we're talking about by developing the right instruments, by developing the right questions that are required, and identifying the sources of that what needs to be measured. In the absence of that, we'll be talking about, yes, infrastructure development, but how is it all this infrastructure development relates to the actual production itself? Are we producing more with more energy, or are we producing more with less energy? And the idea is to be able to produce more with less energy, and that's what we call efficiency itself. So I think we first of all to commend really the government, with all the infrastructure development that is being set up throughout the countries, and now we're talking about a number of projects that are going by constituency in the country, which is a good thing. The issue is how will these be able to contribute to GDP? In other words, the production in the country, to be able to ensure that everyone is able to get a fair share of the cake of the GDP. So it's critical, even here at the conference in Addis Ababa, that the ministers that are here discuss these issues in relation in terms of measurement. Yes, indeed, infrastructure has been put in place. All the policies have been put in place, the strategy have been put in place. The question is, how do they relate to the production? And that's what is key. And when we are able to answer that question, we're also answering the question of issues on climate change, because it means that we are using less energy to do certain things, and some of that energy depend on the way the infrastructure, rather the way climate change is actually set up in our countries. That if we have better climate, more rains, perhaps it means also more electricity, but then how does that electricity being used to the production, and how does it affect or reduce in terms of the efficiency itself? So all I could say is I think it's important that there's more investment on data to understand the measurement itself. That's the critical part. It is important we invest in that to understand, because otherwise we'll be employing so much resources in the development of infrastructure, but not knowing exactly how much these are actually impacting. And the only way to do that is to invest in data and statistics to be able to have much more better informed policies than just having to not knowing exactly what you're investing. I mean, I was telling one colleague here that you can say, yes, I eat very well, I've invested, I've done so much, but are you well? The only way you can know that you are well is to be tested, to have a thermometer. And the only way to do that thermometer is data. That's the only thing that can help you to do that. So that is what I can say at the moment. And I'm pleased to be part of this conference here, which I've been privileged in my capacity as the chairperson of the board of Zambia Statistical Agency, but also a senior advisor for the International Growth Center at London School of Economics. So it gives much pleasure really that the Africa has invited me to be able to give my insights in terms of what I think is required to measure energy efficiency much more better than it has been in the past. So thank you very much for that.